everybody. Backlash is in the books, and you're wondering, how was the show? Well, that's what you're here for. So we got to figure out what just happened. And this is another one of those stupid occasions, stupid moments where the WWE has a B-level pay-per-view and it ends up being a banger. So let's just dive into it. We were in San Juan, Puerto Rico at the Coliseo de Puerto Rico, Jose Miguel Aguilat. And man, first things first, this crowd was amazing. This will go down as an all-time crowd. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic about that. They were hot from start to finish, and they enhanced the show. They elevated matches. International crowds are so good, and crowds can make or break a show. For example, if you go back and watch the first Hulk Hogan Rock match, watch that match on mute without the crowd. It's not a good match, but the crowd elevated it. So our first match of the evening was Bianca Belair defending the Raw Women's Championship against Io Sky. And remember how I mentioned that crowd? Yeah, they gave Bianca Belair the John Cena at One Night Stand treatment. She was getting booed left and right. Io Sky was super over, and like y'all know me. Y'all know I am an Io Sky fan. She is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. Like, she eclipses most of the women on the WWE roster. There are very few women who I think are genuinely as good as Io in the ring. That's how good she is, okay? So we have the Raw Women's Championship match, and with the crowd firmly behind Io, Bianca had to change things up. She didn't go full heel, but she leaned more into her power moves. And that's what heels do. I give credit to Bianca for being able to shift that and seeing the tide change. It was unexpected. Like, the crowd booed every slight movement from the champion, and Io worked beautifully, worked her magic. She worked over Bianca's left arm for most of the match, and then started breaking out her high-flying moves. Everything that Bianca did got booed. Everything that Io did was cheered, and Bianca didn't expect this from Io. Io's so good, and there was moment after moment where I genuinely thought Io was going to win. Like, I picked Io to win. I just think it's time to finish with Bianca's run and do something else. But man, Io was on fire. And for all the casuals out there, you really get to see how good Io is. And as Bianca tried to lean more into her power, didn't work. There was one bad spot where she was gorilla pressing Io, and she did it with one hand. She dropped Io right on her face, and I was holding my breath. But Io had the champ's number, and then when Io hit the moonsault and Bianca kicked out, damage control came down, and they even gave Io the upper hand, and it was close. It was like a 2.99999 count. Bailey was holding on to Bianca's braid, and the ref saw, and that's where the tide turned. Bianca hit the KOD, 1, 2, 3. But for those of you that don't know Io Sky, this was her coming out party. She was fantastic here, man. I absolutely loved it, and I want more for her. I like this part when it comes back to the draft. I don't like that they're all on the same show. I remember the last year's draft when it was like Liv, was few, Carmella. They had moved everybody from SmackDown to Raw. They took Bianca and Damage Control and just moved them all to SmackDown. So like, that doesn't work. I wish they would have separated this feud. We go backstage. Ray meets up with Bad Bunny. They bring in the legend Savio Vega, and the crowd loved it. Vega gave Bad Bunny a kendo stick with the Puerto Rican flag wrapped around it. It was really, really good. Our next match was Omos versus Seth Rollins, and you can say this was, quote unquote, one of the weaker matches on the card, but it was a good fight match. We knew Seth was winning. And what we got was Omos is going to get that big win against a big star to fully solidify him, but he looked really good here. It was like whatever Seth did, it wasn't working. He hit Omos with a couple curb stomps. He kicked out, and this was by far the best match of Omos's career. And Rollins said he would deliver Omos's best match, and he was right. This was good. Omos is starting to catch on, and he's showing improvements, but it's the little things that he's working on that helps. And being in the ring with somebody like Seth Rollins, who can be creative, who can guide you, was great. Omos has to start winning matches. Kind of like how I say, LWO and the Alpha Academy have to start winning matches, but he's got to start winning matches because his booking isn't helping. But this was a fine match. Next up, what I thought was the weakest of everything on the card. It was the triple threat match for the United States Championship of Austin Theory defending against Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed. And Austin Theory retained. This match only went about 6 minutes. And I thought that was a little too quick. I think what really hurt this match was Theory didn't need to be in this match. The true heat, even though Lashley and Theory have heat, the real heat for this match is between Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley, and I think that's where we should have gone. This isn't done between the three of them, and despite Austin Theory getting his big win versus John Cena, it hasn't helped him. It hasn't. There's been nothing. Bronson Reed's impressive. We know what Lashley has. I want more. I think once we get the championship off of Theory, because if I'm correct, let me make sure. I think WWE draft. We just had this. I want to say Bronson Reed is on the Raw roster. Let me make sure. I don't know off the top of my head. Bronson Reed's on the Raw roster, so like he wasn't going to win the championship, which it makes sense because Gunther is on Raw and Theory is on SmackDown, but this thing needed more. Next up, we had the SmackDown Women's Championship with Rhea Ripley defending against Zelina Vega. And you knew Rhea was going to win. Rhea won, but this was more. This was such an emotional match. Rhea came out first, I believe. Rhea came out first, and Zelina came out second, wearing a massive Puerto Rican flag vest, wings, and she was just overcome with so much emotion. Like her mother and her stepfather was in the ring, and you could just see it in her face. Like she was actively crying. She dedicated the match to her father, who had passed away in 9/11. And this is the time where the emotion can get the better of the challenger, which Corey Graves noted. But Zelina, this might have been the best Zelina has ever looked. Just looks-wise, she looked beautiful and amazing. In the ring, she looked great. And we have something here. Zelina was never going to win, because even though she got her moment, she got a couple near falls. She even hit the 619, which the crowd popped for. She gave the Eddie Guerrero dance with the double knee. She looked great. She was never going to win, but what it did do was solidify her as someone that's competent, as a good challenge. Because when Rhea was like, okay, I'm done with this, she hit the Riptide and it was over. 1, 2, 3. But it was after the match where Zelina got a standing ovation, and she was just so overcome with emotion. But they sold the underdog story. They sold this feel-good story, and it worked beautifully. All of this, it helped, one, creating the LWO, but it also helped putting the LWO with Rey Mysterio. And everyone's been elevated by this. So Zelina getting that standing ovation, it was great. Rhea, I've been talking about Zelina this whole time. I don't need to. What more do we need to say about Rhea Ripley? It's Rhea Bloody Ripley. She might be getting her name soon. She's just it. She's just good. She's on fire right now. Rhea was impressive. She was dominant when she needed to be. Her offense was crisp, fast. Rhea is so good. She leaned into the boos, being like, it was perfect. It was perfect. It was perfect. All of it was perfect. Our next match was, which I thought should have been the main event. Bad Bunny, Damian Priest in the San Juan street fight. Damian Priest came out first, and he was wearing his white Judgment Day gear. Not only that, it matched Rhea, but it was also the gear he wore teaming with Bad Bunny at WrestleMania a couple of years ago. So there's story here. And then Bad Bunny came out, and the pop, man, Bad Bunny might be the greatest celebrity to be a part of the WWE. Like, over Mike Tyson, over Logan Paul, over Hugh Jackman, over Stephen Amell. These people did great. Something about Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico. It was, man, crowd singing his interest music. Bad Bunny coming out, getting a shopping cart. It was beautiful. And this match did everything it was supposed to be. Bad Bunny looked impressive here. Damian Priest dominated for a lot of it because he's the actual wrestler. You know, he's going to dominate Damian Priest. He's going to dominate Bad Bunny. And the match really turned when the Judgment Day came out to help, because before that, Bad Bunny was murdered. Priest gave Bad Bunny a Falcon Arrow through like 8 tables, and everybody came out to check on Bad Bunny. And I give props to Bad Bunny for taking that spot, for doing that spot, because a lot of celebrities wouldn't do that. Remember when MGK was powerbombed through a table off the stage by Kevin Owens? I give people props for that. And like Adam Pearce came out, it was like, stop. Priest was like, I'm not done with him. No, he asked for this. Then you know, they recovered. We got a reset, and Bad Bunny started getting the upper hand until the Judgment Day came out, and they were taking out. They were just beating the holy hell out of Bad Bunny. Then Ray came out to help Bad Bunny, and it still wasn't enough because, you know, that damn numbers game. And then Carlito came out, and, you know, the crowd just went nuts. It was he was wearing an LWO shirt. He rushed the ring. He dropped Balor, hit him with the backstabber, took out the apple, spit it in Dominic's face, and Ray gave Dom a 619. And as the Judgment Day retreating, Savio Vega came out, and the crowd went crazy. And then the El Legado came out and they just got rid of everybody in the crowd. Like, this was this should have been the main event. And we got a reset, and they chased everybody. So it came down straight to Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, and there was a chair set up in the corner. Bad Bunny threw Damian Priest into the chair, throat first, and then hit the Bunny Destroyer, the Puerto Rican Destroyer, whatever you want to call it. Got the 1, 2, 3. LWO, Savio Vega, Carlito came back out, accelerated Bad Bunny, and Damian Priest was slumped in the barricade in the corners looking upset. This was, like, some people could say it was overbooked. It wasn't overbooked. It was beautifully booked. It was a street fight. The crowd upped this to no end. And it was a love letter to Puerto Rico and the Puerto Rican heritage. Bad Bunny and the Priest worked great together because I think they're genuinely friends. This was electric. props to Damian Priest. This was just great, and this is what wrestling can be. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Next up, we had the 6-man tag match with the Bloodline, Jimmy J and Solo taking on Sammy, KO, and Matt Riddle. And this was a toss-up in who could have won, right? But the story was, where does Solo stand and what's going to happen if they lose this match? That's the real question. So I'll get to the end of it. The Bloodline won. The Bloodline won the match, but it was the infighting between the Usos and their little brother. And Solo won the match, and there was a point where Solo was going crazy, and he was about to hit, I think Jimmy with the Samoan Spike. It was Jay. And Jay was like, yo, what's going on? And Solo pointed to his red chest where Jay had slapped him. So this was intriguing. This was intriguing. The Usos celebrated, but Solo was off. This is a really good match. I didn't expect the Bloodline to win, and KO and Riddle shined. Sammy was kind of an afterthought through this match, but this was all about the story, with Zayn forcing the decline of the Bloodline. So even though the Bloodline won their match, it's not over. Like, their facial expressions, their nonverbal communication are so key, in the tension with Solo, and how is the storyline still going on? I can't wait till Friday. This was just good stuff. And finally, our main event, Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar. I like this match, but it felt out of place to close the show. That makes sense. These two put on a really good match. F5s, crossroads. There was blood, and they didn't stop the match. But this was good. Like, I could see Brock coming back from because Cody won. Here's how Cody won. Brock had the Kimura locked in, but Cody uses momentum to reverse him to a pin. 1, 2, 3. So, like, Cody got the win. It's just I feel like there could be more to this. Like, the Bad Bunny Damian Priest match should have been the main event. And you know, after all of that, after Damian Priest and Bad Bunny, after the Usos and, you know, and KO and them, the energy, the emotion, electricity was just down. So it felt out of place, and Cody left immediately after the match. And the camera really focused on Brock because he was off. He can't believe he lost, but there might be more. But Bad Bunny didn't appreciate the main event of the show. This was a good show. I can't rave enough about it. Placement being a little bit off. This was phenomenal. I want to see if the tide is going to turn with Bianca Belair, because she's on SmackDown now, and she's on there with Charlotte. She's on there with Damage Control. She's on there with Asuka. It's stacked for sure. So we'll see. But this was a fun show. Everything was good. I wanted more from the U.S. title match, but go check out this show. Come back every Saturday for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. This Saturday's show, we will be doing, I believe it's looking at the NXT roster, getting in a reboot from that. But always check me out every Saturday. Check out the High Risk Wrestling Podcast, movie, TV reviews. I'm going to start getting those going up again, and get ready for something special else going on for the channel. But that is WWE Backlash and what just happened.